Okay, we're at 27 Hess Street in Dayton, Ohio. It's considered the Oregon district. It's looking for any structural issues at all in the sanitary lateral. Our access location is, there's a clean out in the rear left of the basement floor. Sticking up, you can see it is PVC, so a lot of this has been replaced. There's also a clean out about halfway up on the left side also, around like underneath the side door, the left side door in the basement. But we're going to go here. This should give us the best opportunity to go to as much line. I believe this should go out the front, so we should be passing that connection there. You'll see there is the clean out there in the bottom corner. Now, based off of the age of the home, this should go into clay if it's original. Oh, geez, there is a lot of buildup right here. Looks like a lot of grease buildup. This is the kitchen line. So, I'm trying to push through this, but it looks like I can. But this is definitely going to have to be cleaned out. I mean, there's a lot of grease in here. And so I don't know if this is because of damage and the backup, or if this is just yeah. It looks like it is covered in grease. And so I think I broke a bunch of stuff loose, but this is really full of grease. There may be a trap here or something. You can hear. There's definitely a lot of grease though. Wow. My camera is covered. Yeah, this line is just filled with grease, and so I can't get through it. This line's going to have to be cleared at least. I'm going to make a move because I can't get through this area. Now it doesn't seem like it was backing up, like water could be getting through it. It could have a trap on it. I'm not really sure. All I know is that there it was, like you could obviously see that the line was all backed up with grease. And so from this spot, pretty much immediately when I went into the clean out, it was filled with grease, and when I pulled the camera back, you can see it. You couldn't see anything on the front of the camera until I wiped it off, but it is just packed with grease. Probably people dumping grease down the kitchen sink because it's very, very close to here. So it does have a sump pump that you would think would help rinse out the line, but it doesn't seem to be doing much because this is a combined system. It is a storm mixed with sanitary, and so there may just be a trap right there, but either way, that was like 90% blocked with grease, so that really needs to be jetted. So I'm going to pause the video here. We're going to make a move, and I'm going to try to go through the other access point and then see how much luck we have getting through that part of the line so we can inspect a little more, hopefully. Okay, he moved in. It's behind the stationary tub and behind the laundry. There's a little room back here, and there's a little clean out in here also. Let's see if we can get the camera to go down through this section here. You see that is the door coming through right next to the laundry room. And here's this. There's an awful lot of grease still on this camera. Okay, and then it does look like it goes over and ties into some cast iron. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this stuff and we'll see better when we pull back.
looks like some cast iron. I would expect this to go and change over into clay. This was probably an added line at some point. Now the original line in here would have been clay, probably 5-inch clay. And so as we get out and we tie into it, hopefully you're going to see some of that. Cast iron looks relatively normal for cast iron. Here we go, as the cast iron now is switching over into clay. Just kind of what I expected there. We have a little tiny little finger root drop in there, you saw. A little bit of roots. And if you're going to go ahead and have the line cleaned, I would go ahead and do that with this little bit of root intrusion. Normally that wouldn't really justify a cleaning with that little bit, but because they're going to be out here jetting it for all the grease buildup in that line, it'd probably be a good idea to do this one also, just to get rid of that little bit of root intrusion that's there. And then down the line you may want to either add some Rudex. It really doesn't seem real severe. But Rudex is a chemical that kind of kills roots, and burns them back to keep them from causing issues, keeps them from growing real thick. Okay. And a little bit of build up here. This is the tap, and here we are at the sewer main. And so we've made it all the way out, and everything looks functional from this connection. And so there may be a section where that may be a spot back there on the other ones that had that had a trap or something underneath it. Maybe I'll try to take the little piece off the front of my camera and see if I can go back through it. But it was severely clogged full of grease. From this side, I'm going to run some water in this stationary tub, but from this side, the cast iron, it's pretty rough, but it is functional. All cast iron is rough like that, just due to the nature of the material. You can never really tell how thin or thick the pipe walls are. You're just basically looking at, making sure that it doesn't have a big hole in it or anything like that. Overall, the line from this point is functional, so we're going to see if we can get back in there like I mentioned. But first things first, we're going to run some water in this stationary tub and see how the line functions from here on out, and then we'll go back and see if we can get anything to come through that back kitchen line. And so we got the stationary tub running right here next to this. It should really drop into the clean out that I'm in. We're just waiting now to see when we see the water show up behind the camera. It shouldn't take very long. So with the cast iron, I do want to recommend that you don't use any wet wipes. They say flushable on them, they're not. In most cases with cast iron, it's a little more susceptible to soft clogs. which would include like excessive toilet paper, wet wipes, those kind of things blocking up the line. Where there's nothing wrong structurally with the line, but because of how rough the interior is, you'll have a situation where that, because of how rough the pipe walls are, they can catch that toilet paper or catch the, those wet wipes are worse because they don't disintegrate. Water will disintegrate toilet paper. And so it's not as likely to cause any of those backups, because when you do that, when you put the toilet paper in, if it does catch a little bit, it'll just disintegrate into the water and it won't be a big deal. Those wet wipes don't do that. They probably shouldn't be marketed as flushable, because just because they go down the toilet doesn't mean they're good for the line. So you can see the water showing up. That's good. It didn't take too long for it to get there. And so when we pull back, we'll just kind of watch the line function, make sure everything is flowing freely, and hope that it can help rinse off a little bit of my camera there. It's all that grease that got on there in that kitchen line. But the clay, structurally the line looks like it's in good shape. Didn't really see anything concerning. All of it looked pretty normal for the age of the pipe and the age of the home and this material. Very, very light root intrusion. Not something you would have to be really worried about in the near future. But like I mentioned, if they go ahead and if they're going to go ahead and do a jetting for the grease in the kitchen line, it might be a good idea to, if they run all the way through, they can take care of this little bit of root intrusion. And that's very, very minor. It's not affecting flow at all. It's just kind of getting in a little bit out of joint. And that's pretty normal with clay. You see they have all these little joints, and those joints are basically the packing that they use in those joints can break down or shrink a little bit over the years, and so it just allows in a little bit of root intrusion. But this is very, very minor. Okay, we're back here in the cast iron. And you can see cast iron's open. It's kept its shape pretty well. Not too bad of channeling or anything. A lot of times you have all the buildup of the water, like mineral deposits from the water, kind of build up along the bottom of the pipe and almost makes the bottom of the pipe flat instead of round. And so that's kind of what's going on here. And so the line doesn't look bad structurally. It looks like it's functioning well, especially for its age. Trying to keep the lines clean there. Bouncing it back and forth. Should be getting close now to the pulling back out of the clean outer, going vertical. I think this is it right here. Yeah. This is where all the water's coming in, so it's, there we go. So yeah, I don't really see anything crazy. Like all the line looks good structurally from here. We just got to figure out how, see if we can get through that back line. So, I'm going to pause the video one more time. I think I should, since I'm here, I'll make one more attempt with the camera back there on the kitchen line. I don't really have much hope as far as getting through it. Either way, it's going to need to be cleaned, but I was hoping I could try to identify whether or not there's a trap or something on that line also that may contribute to the grease buildup as bad as we saw. Because, it was almost choking that line down to if it's originally a 4-inch line, it was choking that line down to like an inch, if that. The camera head is only about 1 inch in diameter, and that was definitely You could see it kind of squeezing around the lens, and once we got into it, obviously it just packed all over the camera end. So again, we're going to pause the video again and we'll move back to that other thing. But from this point out, the line looks good structurally, just had a tiny bit of root intrusion, but nothing of any immediate concern. But we want to do what we can to check that back line one more time and see if we can get through it. Okay, we're going to make one final attempt here on this back clean out with all the grease on it. We'll see if we see anything as we go down, but you can see immediately it is full of water. And so there may be a trap on this thing. And maybe that's why. I think I made it through like 17 feet. I'm going horizontal, and there it is. And so looks like a blockage. I really have no way of getting a whole lot of torque or a lot of leverage to push on this too bad, but yep. Yep, I don't know what it is. It's blocked though. It seems pretty hard. My camera's not sticking to it. So there may be a structural issue there. But of course, you know, with it being full of water, we can't really see anything. So I'm going to recommend that this be cleaned. Obviously, you can see just all the grease buildup and everything in the line. It looks like it's filled up. And so from the front one, from the front clean out, everything looked good. Everything looked good structurally. But from this rear clean out, you're going to have to clean and jet all this stuff out of here. See if you can figure out what the issue is at about 17 feet from this clean out. Well, it's probably about 12 feet from this clean out, 5 feet of extended line going into the clean out. So maybe 10 feet from this clean out, there's a blockage and a buildup of grease and everything like that. So I'm going to recommend a cleaning and a re-inspection be done to check for any structural issues between here and where it ties into the rest of the line. But from the clean out behind the stationary tub, behind the laundry, that line going all the way out to the main is structurally sound and open and flowing with nothing out of the ordinary for a line that age and material. So that's going to end the inspection at 27 Hess Street in Dayton, Ohio.